There's a strange kind of pressure in modern life, the pressure to be productive every second. We rush from task to task, measure days by results, and call it progress. But here's a quiet truth: your brain wasn't designed to run endlessly like a machine. And what if doing nothing, truly nothing, isn't a waste of time, but the most essential act of mental renewal? Every invention, every poem, every life-changing idea began in a moment of stillness, a walk, a stare through the window, a pause between thoughts. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network, the system that activates when we stop focusing on tasks. It's the mind's background engine, where creativity, reflection, and emotional balance quietly connect. When you let your thoughts drift, your brain begins to weave connections that logic alone can't make. It's not idleness, it's incubation. Tonight, we'll explore why doing nothing restores your ability to think, why silence is not absence but presence, and why stepping back from the noise might be the most powerful thing you ever do. Even when you rest, your brain remains astonishingly active. In fact, when you stop focusing, blood flow in certain regions increases. It replays memories, tests future scenarios, builds emotional understanding, and repairs cognitive fatigue. This is why moments of stillness often bring sudden clarity, because the mind is allowed to sort, organize, and breathe. Our culture confuses motion with progress. But biologically, motion without pause burns clarity. The brain was never meant to sprint through constant attention. It was meant to move in waves, focus, rest, reflect, and rise again. Einstein took long walks when he was stuck. Newton stared at falling apples, not equations. Da Vinci spent hours simply observing water flow. They weren't procrastinating. They were creating mental space, the same space your mind enters when it's quiet. Psychologists call it diffuse thinking. It's the mode where ideas from different parts of the brain connect in unexpected ways. That's why answers come in the shower, during a walk, or just before sleep. Your conscious mind steps aside, and the deeper layers take over. Modern life has replaced silence with constant input. We scroll between apps, chase notifications, fill silence with sound. We fear boredom because it feels like emptiness, but boredom is the birthplace of curiosity. Each moment of distraction weakens our ability to reflect. When you're always reacting, you stop creating. And the brain becomes a crowded room where no single voice can be heard. Recent studies show that short daily periods of intentional rest, just 5 to 10 minutes of quiet, can significantly improve focus, mood, and creative problem solving. It's not about meditation or perfection. It's about stopping the constant doing long enough to let your thoughts breathe. The brain loves patterns, but it also needs pauses. Just like music, without silence, there's no rhythm. We are taught that time is money. But in truth, time is energy, and energy must be restored. When you rest without guilt, you're not falling behind, you're resetting your inner compass. Busyness often hides confusion. Stillness often reveals direction. The paradox of modern progress is simple: the more you try to maximize every moment, the more you lose the meaning of any moment at all. Doing nothing doesn't mean being lazy. It means being aware. It's a conscious surrender, a decision to let your mind exist without demand. In ancient philosophy, this was called wu wei, effortless action. A flow that happens when you stop forcing and start allowing. Every time you let yourself breathe, your nervous system resets. Heart rate slows. Stress hormones drop. And your thoughts regain depth. When you let go of the need to fill every moment, you rediscover time itself. You start noticing the hum of the world, the sound of wind, the flicker of light, your own breath. The world doesn't stop when you pause, it becomes visible. We spend our lives chasing productivity, but wisdom often comes from stillness. Doing nothing is not an absence of purpose, it is the space where purpose returns. The most meaningful work you will ever do begins in moments when you appear to be doing nothing at all. Tonight, before you sleep, give your mind permission to wander. Turn off the noise, let thoughts drift, and let stillness speak. Because tomorrow's clarity begins in tonight's silence. Thank you for joining Aam Daily, Night Insight. Until the next reflection, stay calm, stay aware, and let your mind rest.